Atletico Madrid are interested in Chelsea's N'Golo Kante. N'Golo Kante is expected to sign a new Chelsea deal soon after a series of positive conversations between both parties, but there is still interest in the French midfielder if he does leave on a free in June. Kante's contract is up in the summer at Chelsea, and if negotiations collapse and the player does not sign a new deal, he will be a free agent. Clubs have been queuing up in the event of that happening. Atletico Madrid are another name to add to that list, with the Spanish club now showing interest in Kante. According to Mundo Deportivo, Atletico Madrid are now leading the race to sign N'Golo Kante if he does not leave Chelsea on a free in the summer. Juventus have been a club with well-documented interest in Kante if he does leave Chelsea, but Atletico have now reportedly overtaken them in the race. All signs currently point towards Kante putting pen to paper on a new Chelsea deal, but anything can happen in football and he could still leave. The belief is that Kante is happy in London and does not want to relocate. Contract talks were described in recent weeks as very positive. Chelsea value the experience of Kante, and if he can stay fit, the club believe he can still be an asset in the midfield to guide the younger players. Nothing concrete as of yet, and as negotiations continue in the coming days, it will be up to Chelsea to convince Kante to stay. Los Angeles FC in talks with Chelsea for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. MLS side Los Angeles FC are now in talks with Chelsea to try and offer Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang a way out of the club. Aubameyang was originally tipped to leave Chelsea in the summer but could leave now. Barcelona wanted to sign Aubameyang in the January window but were unable to do so due to regulations put in place by FIFA that did not permit a player to be registered 3 times in one season. The MLS have different regulations than the ones FIFA have in place, which would allow Aubameyang to sign within this season. According to Matteo Moretto of Relevo, Los Angeles FC are now in talks with Chelsea over the transfer of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. The window is still open for American clubs, and it is a time where they try and scout the biggest available players from Europe they could possibly bring into the league. Aubameyang falls under that category, and is looking to find a new club after recently being left out of the Champions League squad by Chelsea. The new season of the MLS starts soon, meaning Aubameyang would not be registered 3 times within the same season, which is illegal per FIFA rules. Chelsea could terminate the player's contract and allow him to join the club on a free, or could ask for a small fee to allow him to leave now. It is a deal that could seriously happen due to the nature of how Aubameyang has been treated lately, and it's one to follow in the coming hours. Chelsea progressing in contract talks with Thiago Silva. Chelsea are progressing in talks to extend the contract of Thiago Silva for another year. Thiago Silva has been one of the best signings in the history of Chelsea Football Club, and the fans now look more likely than ever to get another year of Brazilian brilliance at the football club. Chelsea have been in talks with Silva and his representatives for some time over a new contract, and talks have now progressed very well. It is thought that an agreement will be reached in just a matter of days. According to Fabrizio Romano, Chelsea are progressing well in talks with Thiago Silva over an extension on his contract. The extension will be for 1 year until June 2024. The player has made it clear he wants to stay, and the club believe it's valuable to have a player of his caliber around the club. Chelsea are currently trying to tie a number of players down to new contracts, with Mason Mount of the players currently in ongoing negotiations with the club, with Thiago Silva's deal is the closest to being agreed. Discussions between both parties are now ongoing, and the only thing left now is the green light. Chelsea are hopeful of an agreement and expect it to be sorted out soon. Silva has been instrumental to the success of Chelsea since he joined the club and is still a very important part of the backline, even with the defensive reinforcements since the summer. A deal is close, and it will not be long until Chelsea announce the new contract of Thiago Silva. Negotiations between Mason Mount and Chelsea are ongoing. Mason Mount's contract is up in June 2024, and Chelsea have been working on trying to get him to sign a new deal since before the World Cup. There is yet to be a breakthrough. Mount's form has took a dip this season after a sensational campaign last year, but that can be said as the case for a number of Chelsea players so far this season. Negotiations between the two parties have not stopped, and they are trying to reach an agreement. According to Fabrizio Romano, negotiations between Chelsea and Mason Mount are still ongoing at the moment. Reports last week suggested that the negotiations were currently negative, and that can still be said as the case. There is, however, still a belief Mount will commit his future to the club. Liverpool's interest is real, but Chelsea view Mount as a key part of the rebuild the club will undergo in the next few seasons. He is expected to be a key face in the coming years. Mount is thought to be open to staying in London, and there is still confidence a new deal will be agreed internally at Chelsea despite negotiations taking as long as they have. The agreement is reportedly stalled over terms rather than desire to commit to the club. The coming days will see conversations continue with the hopes of a more positive outcome at the end. Mount's future is not resolved yet, but both parties are hoping the situation can be resolved soon.